props and some essential hooks. Now I wanna explain some other topics. Let's start with React events. How React is handling events. So handling events with React elements is very similar to handling events on DOM elements. There are just some syntax differences, and what are these differences? Let's look at code. For example, here we have a form and we have button. And how are we how are we submitting this form in normal HTML? We are saying on click equals, for example, we want to console log this, right? On submit, we can say console log something. The difference is that React events are named using camel case rather than lowercase. So in normal HTML, we have on click with the uh, uh, lower C, but in React, we have camel case, and we can pass our function here. For example, this handle submit. This is different, and this is JSX, and you pass a function as an event handler rather than we had a string in normal HTML. So let's see how this is working. It's not working actually. Not on click. We wanna on submit. Sorry. So on submit, is it right? That should work. Oh, okay, we have console log here. I thought it was alert. So it is working. Also, another difference is that you cannot return false to prevent default behavior in React. For example, in normal HTML, you can say return false, but you can do it in JSX. You can, but actually, I will say how. You must call prevent default explicitly, like we have here. So this on submit calls this handle submit function, and it passes the event as argument. So we can get this argument here in this function, and we can say event prevent default. So we are preventing the default behavior of the form submit. In this example, this A is a synthetic event, and I will explain what is synthetic event in a second. And React defines this synthetic event, so you don't need to worry about cross-browser compatibility. So we know that some events is different across different browsers, and React solves this problem, so we don't need to worry about this. React events do not work exactly the same as native elements. So, for example, when using React, you don't need to call add event listener or add event listener for you. You don't need it. You can, but you don't need it. To add event listeners to a DOM after it is created, we just provide the listener when the element is initially rendered. So like we have this. Above we said synthetic event. So what is synthetic event? A synthetic event is a cross-browser wrapper around the browser's native event. So you can think that it is a copy of the browser's native event object. So for example, if we console of this event, this, we will see this is not normal event. This is a synthetic event, and it is looks like normal browser's event. So we have bubble, we have cancelable, current target, default preventing, etc. And also we have native event here. So this native event is a copy of the browser's event, and it is attached to these synthetic events. For example, for some reason, if we want to use the native event, we can say event, native event, and whatever we want. So it is, in this example, it is exactly the same. For example, we have bubbles, bubbles through, we have bubbles through here. We have cancel bubble, we have cancel bubble here, and etc. Uh, so as you can see, it has the same interface as a browser's native event, including we have stop propagation, prevent default, except events works identically across all browsers. I mean the synthetic events. We have already said that. And how events work in React with lists. So I will show it. For example, if we have a list. For example, if we have multiple buttons, for example, we have button and button 1, I will copy this, button 2, and button 3. Okay, it doesn't matter. And we want to attach events, all of them. I will do another function. Imagine we have list of buttons and all of them have this handle click event. So, and imagine we have thousands of these buttons. So how React works? React don't add, React don't actually, we see that, we are seeing that it seems like we have this on-click event listeners to all of them, but actually we don't. So React does not attach event handlers to the nodes themselves. So it does not attach all of the buttons. Instead, a single event listener is attached to the root of the document. So it actually, when React attach event listeners in DOM, it will attach this one event listener on the div, and it removes these event listeners from there, and it will work like this. It is better for performance, and React is doing this. It is called event delegation. We know it, and React doing this event delegation automatically. We don't need to do it ourselves. So when the event is fired, React maps it to the appropriate component element. So it maps this on these buttons, for example. I will get back my code. Okay. So this is how events work in React. So let's go to conditions. So how conditional rendering works in React. Conditional rendering in React works the same way conditions works in JavaScript. So we can use if-else statements and or ternary operators to create elements representing the current state. For example, let's go to, for example, we have a login component and we have logout component, and we wanna let's simulate. Let's imagine that we have state is authenticated. So if user is authenticated, we want to show logout component, logout button, and if user is not, we want to show login. How can we do it in React? In this example, we have is authenticated state here. So we can say we want to do we can do it if else statements as well, but I will go with ternary and because it's better in this case, and I will show. We wanna open this curly braces, and in here we can say if is authenticated, we want to render logout, and else login. So if we see it first, initially it is we have set this is authenticated to false, so it is rendering this logout component. So how can we how can we change this state? For example, in logout, we have on-click listener, and we have this set authenticated to false. So if I pass this prop here, and here as well, I have we are getting this as props, and we are saying set authenticated to true in a login component, and in logout we are setting this to false, and we are changing this state from this child component. So if we go on the site and if we click on login, it says logout. So let's see what's the HTML looks like. We have this login component here, and if we press it, we have condition, so it changes to logout. It removes a login button, login component, and it renders this logout component. And we can do it like on anything. Like we can to update UI conditionally, not only with this example. We can do anything with this. So this is how conditions work in React. We also, there is other way. I will show this as well with if else statement. So we can say if is authenticated, return logout. Oh, sorry. Else return login. And it will work as well. I'm not gonna pass this set authenticate again because it's actually same what I have. So, or we can pass it. Okay. And it will work like it was before. So you can also use switch statements here, and also ternary operator. And also there is another way, and I will show you. For example, if we don't, we can do with, for example, is authenticated and double end, and like this. Should be true. So if we don't need that if else statement, we can do like this, and we without ternary. This is JSX syntax, so like this. This is conditional rendering, and I wanna go to styling here. So how can we style React components? For example, here we have div and we are h1 and we are saying styling. So how can we style this? There are multiple ways. First, I will show inline style. How can we style this? Color red, for example, and it is red. But this is not good, right? This inline style. So we can't do like on every element that inline style is. This is not good. So what we can create the CSS file and we can import it like this, and we can say class name equals white. And you notice that I'm not writing class, I'm writing class name. That is because class is reserved keyword in JavaScript, so React needs some other name, other attribute. So that's why we are writing class name in React instead of class. So this is working, but here we have some problem, and I will show you in a second. The problem is that if we import styles like this from in component, this applies globally. So it applies to all of the components. So if we open this head and if we open the styles, I will find this. You see this white is installed here, and even if we change the components, this white is still here. So it applies globally, like all of our components. So we don't need this, right? So we want somehow to encapsulate our styles, our classes, and we want these classes, for example, in this component, in this styling component, we want this styling CSS to apply only this styling component. So we don't need to apply it globally and override some other classes, right? So how can we do it? There are multiple ways to do it, and I will show you. First we can do it with CSS modules. So how can we do it? To use CSS modules, we have to name it styling.module.css, and then we can import styles from styling module CSS. And what is happening here? It imports actually JavaScript object, JSON object, and we can put these styles white, and let's see. It is still working, but what is different here? Let's see. As you can see, it encapsulates our styles. It is adding some unique name to here, styling white, and this some strange string here. So it encapsulates our style, and this is unique, and it will never repeat. Also, there is another way to do it. Okay. Before that, I will show. I want to show you how we can conditionally render our styles. It is the same as actually as conditional rendering in React as we saw before, but I will still say do it. For example, if we have make a button here, and let's call this toggle color. And for example, we want to toggle color of this styling text. How can we do it? Sorry. We can, I will uncomment this. We have to write our state. For this default color is true, and this handle toggle function. So we can say on click handle toggle. So what this handle toggle is doing, it is if the state is true, it will set the state to false, and if it false, this will set this to true. So it toggles our state. And what we can say here is if default color is true, then it is white. If not, for example, styles red. Let's define red in our styles. If we save this, as you can see, we are toggling our text. Also, we have another way to apply styling in React. This is there. We have to install package, and I already have installed it. This package called styled component. If we go to documentation, styled components, and installation, we can run this code npm is install -- save styled components, and I have already installed these styled components, as you can see here, and then we can import styled from styled components. Remove this. I will remove this as well. And what is this styled how can we use this styled components? This styled components, as you can see from the name, this is pure React components, and I will show you how this is working. We are defining, for example, wrapper. And wrapper equals to styled div. If we wanna do, for example, h1, we can say h1 or h2 or paragraph or anything else. But in this case, we wanna do div, and then we are doing template literal. I know this syntax is a bit strange, but it is how this style component working. And we can wrap our component with a wrapper, and what we put inside, for example, we can say this h1 class name equals white or red, and we can put this red here. Color red. It's not working. Oh, it's class red. Oh, okay, it's overriding it. Let's put important here. Oh, okay, it should not be string. It should be normal CSS, and it's applying our styles. So, and if we and how this style components working, it is encapsulated as well, but it is not encapsulated like we had in CSS modules. It is not adding, as we can see, this is a it is not adding anything to class name, but actually it is a component. So if we unmount our component, this class is gone, so it won't apply to our uh, global application, because this is a component. So if we unmount this component will be unmounted as well, this wrapper. As we have said, so for example, how can we conditionally render our styles in this case with style components? As we have said, this is a normal React component, so we can pass props there. So for example, we can pass this pass this default color prop here in wrapper component, and it equals to default color, and we can get that this our wrapper here. We wanna like this, and props, something is wrong. I don't remember. Let's see. I don't remember the syntax. Oh, okay. We are in template literal already. We can say props default color, then white, else red. Props is not defined, it said. Oh, okay. We have to pass callback here. Props. So it is working like this. I have never used this, like I have used it a long time ago, before last time, so I don't remember exactly how it was working. So this is now how we can conditionally render styles in with styled components. This is how styling works in React, and let's move on forms. So here we have form, we have a label, and we have input here. This input type is text, and we are submitting this form. So when I submit this form, in this case, I wanna alert a name was submitted and our form's value. So how can we do it? This is the input. Now we can type anything, but if we type submit, we are still getting this default value, what we have in state. So we can say this value equals to state. So the state is this default value string. So state value. And as we can see, if we put value attribute on input, this input will be whatever value is. But the problem here is that we can't delete this, we can change it, or we can't do anything here. So if we, so how can we fix it? We can put on change event handler here, and on change we have to define on this handle change equals this, and we can put this handle change here on change. So let's see what's happening. Is this on change as we said before? This is our events in React passing this event argument automatically. So let's see what is happening, or what is this event looks like. If we type something, we are getting this synthetic event again. So here we can say that our we have this value here, and value is what is written here. So we can change it. So we can say when we type something, so on change set state event target value. This syntax is the same as in JavaScript, so it's nothing special here. Now we can change. So, and let's remove this default value and put the empty string here. And if we type name Guga, for example, and if we click submit, it's undefined somehow. Oh, okay, sorry. Not event, we have object here. We have to say value equals event target value. And if we, why is it still undefined? Okay, it's working now. If we type Guga, here is a name was submitted Guga. So that's it. How this is called two-way binding. So we are binding our input. So what we are typing here, we can get from our event, and then we are setting this to our state, and then other console logging like our state, or we are submitting it. That's it. How our forms work in React. And that's it for this lecture as well. It's really short lecture like today. Like I thought it would list like more time, but yeah, that's it. Any questions? No? Okay, I see questions. Lika, you can use event stop propagation as well as you can use event stop propagation, event prevent default, and anything like in normal JavaScript. You can do it, yes. Uh, Georgi, I don't have exact answer for this. I think it's on our taste. Like, I like styled components, but sometimes, for example, let's go to stylings. For example, imagine we have more styles here, like, and this component will be like more lines, and it is ugly sometimes, but anyway, I like styled components, and I think it's on our taste. Some developers don't like it, some like some global stylings, uh, some like CSS modules. It's on our taste. I can't, there is no exact answer about that. Anything else? So thank you, everyone. We can finish here, Rati.
Yes, I will stop recording.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.